Political analyst Dallas Jones joins us now to break it all down. Big win for Clinton as it stalled Sanders after his big win in New Hampshire.
Absolutely. It was a great weekend for the Clinton campaign. They're excited going into the South Carolina primary. A win in Nevada was really a test of where both campaigns stood in much more diverse states. And I think that's been the ongoing dialogue, is that once Iowa and New Hampshire, which were not very diverse, were done, we'd get a real opportunity to see whether or not the Sanders message was penetrating in Hispanic and African American communities. Nevada being 15% African American, 15% Hispanic, we think Secretary Clinton was able to hold her ground in those communities.
So what do we make of Donald Trump's resounding I mean, he wins by what? By 11 points. Although some people look at the statistic, that means 68% said they don't like Donald Trump. So how do you look at this?
Well, I think one thing that's important to note is that in the manner that South Carolina awards its delegates, Donald Trump was able to secure all of them. You had to win a certain level statewide, but then you were able to get a certain amount of delegates through the congressional districts in the state of South Carolina. He won every congressional district. He won statewide. He got every single delegate out of the state. And so I think that surprised a lot of folks. A very disappointing third place for Ted Cruz, who had hoped that the evangelical base in South Carolina would have helped to galvanize around him. But he came in second, a very razor-thin third place to Marco Rubio, excuse me, who came in second place. That was a good opportunity for him to show that he is viable as we move forward into Super Tuesday and other states. But we'll see what happens.
Didn't fare so well for Jeb Bush, so he decided to finally throw in the towel, call it a day.
I found that to be interesting. Jeb Bush, we were talking, Jeb Bush did come in fourth, but going into Super Tuesday with so many southern states voting, I was surprised that he immediately suspended his campaign. It's not like he didn't have the war chest to actually compete and perform, but he did. And it was probably due to folks wondering whether or not this could get worse for him. And so he suspended respectfully his campaign.
I want to circle back to Marco Rubio for a moment. He is turning out at this point the highest placed, I guess, more moderate voice, if you will, within the Republican, I guess, list of candidates. Does he get traction, and does he get, I guess, some support from these voices that have dropped out, like a Jeb Bush?
Absolutely. I think what happens is Marco Rubio has a new strategy, which means that he's now going after what's called the establishment support. He's going to try to woo those Bush supporters, those Bush donors, which will be an important piece for him in competing against Donald Trump. And I think the Republican Party is going to have a conversation about who they want to put up in the fall for the presidency. And so I think that it will boil down to between a Trump and a Rubio who differ from policy perspectives.
With the Nevada GOP caucus next Saturday, still not a clear lead, is there? How do you feel about it?
Absolutely. There's no true leader, and caucus states are always difficult to predict just because the process is different. It's not as simple as just going into a ballot box and pushing a button. It's about people having to come together and have dialogues and make deals and commitments, and so we never know. It's about whose supporters will be passionate come those caucuses.
And come out no matter what. All right, Dallas Jones, good to see you.
Meantime, Super Tuesday is coming, and we have a debate this week here at UH. Dallas Jones, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's going to be exciting to have it here in H-Town.